And you know what? Finally, part 5. Although I believe there would be 6, nevertheless. So Sejanus confessed. He said that a group of rebels is about to escape, so they just need to free Lil, and then Billy Tope, other people, Lucy Gray, they are leaving. That's why they need Sejanus to help free Lil. And then Sejanus said, I couldn't go without telling you, you're like my brother, Corio. But his mind is in panic, but he's like, I couldn't change your mind, right? But Sejanus said, oh no, I've decided sooner or later I'll snap here, I need to go. And Sejanus left. So Coriolanus's mind raced. What should he do? Part of him wanted to erase the recording. So you see, he's not the villain. Part of him wanted to erase it. But then he thought that now he knows the information, and if this would come out, he would be a collaborator too, since he knows. So what are other options? If he would tell the base commander, Sejanus would obviously deny it, and also Coriolanus will get the reputation of a snitch or unreliable person. So he thought that probably Dr. Ghoul would know what to do. He thought that, oh, she's so experienced, so she can probably decide how to best handle the matter. So if she would see the tape, she would know that it was intentional, and she would probably just call Sejanus' father, and Sejanus would be discharged, and they would just, send him home. So that's what he was thinking. So he didn't plan to hurt Sejanus. No, he was thinking that, oh, they will discharge him, and then I'm free, I'm not in danger. So he thought, oh yeah, that would probably be best for everybody. And he did not erase the recording. He added this bird to other birds, and they were sent to the citadel. That night he had a dream. He was in the arena again, and he saw Sejanus standing at Marcus's body, so exactly like it used to be. But there were snakes, and snakes were closing on Sejanus. Coriolanus screamed at him to get him up and run, but Sejanus couldn't hear him, and snakes reached him in the end. Again, you see, Coriolanus is not bad. Bad people probably don't have nightmares. So Coriolanus woke up at that moment, and he thought, Sejanus could be in real trouble. What did I do? So you see this moment. The emotional human part is still here, still there. He was worried that his actions hurt Sejanus for real. But later on, he was like, oh, I'm just overreacting. Scientists would never hear the recording. Who would check all the birds? Like, what's the reason? So it would not result in Sejanus' death. But he himself is in danger for knowing the rebels' plan. That night, during the Kobe show, he was following Sejanus into barracks, and he witnessed him buying guns from a dealer, Spruce. Billy Tope was also there, so when Spruce noticed Coriolanus entering the barrack, his whole body tightened. Fearing it was someone who could betray them, he demanded, who's that? But Sejanus was like, no, he's my friend, he's with us, it's all right. So then they went back to their gun buying business. Then Lucy entered, but she didn't say anything. And then there was also Mayfair, Mayor's daughter. So she saw Lucy in there together with Billy Tope and other guys and the guns, and she knew what was happening. But she was jealous that Lucy was there, so she tried to flee. She started backing away, and at that moment Coriolanus felt that with her would go his entire future and life. If she would just report what she heard and saw. So Coriolanus reflexively, quick, reached for the peacekeeper's rifle. So it was one among those guns. And he fired towards Mayfair's voice. Again, he did not process it. His survival part activated by itself, and he did what was needed to be done. Well, he thought. He didn't even think that. That's his, survival part, just did it. So Billy Tope was about to do something about it, but Spruce shot him down. Wow. Spruce asked Coriolanus, we're good here? Coriolanus nodded, so Spruce got all the guns, including the peacekeeper's rifle Coriolanus used, and he ran away. Everything happened within seconds, and now 2 people are dead, and they all could be hanged for that, especially considering it was Mayor's daughter. So Coriolanus also acted fast with cool head. The survival, rational part activated. He sent Lucy back to the stage so everybody would see she was on the stage. He grabbed Sejanus and they returned to the bar and then to their base. They acted as if nothing happened, although Coriolanus was terribly nervous. Next day, Mayfair and Billy Tope's bodies were found. Everybody was like, who did that? So Coriolanus was very, very nervous. Sejanus as well. Since Spruce got the guns, including the rifle with Coriolanus' DNA on it, and ran away, Coriolanus hoped that Spruce is too far away. No one would ever catch him, no one would ever see his fingerprints on the rifles, no one would know what he did, because if they would know, he would be hanged, as everybody else. And a few days later, at lunch, all of a sudden, military police officers appeared and arrested Sejanus. Coriolanus wasn't sure if he got arrested because they got his recording or to question about Mayfair and Billy Tope. He tried to reassure himself that, it's because of the recording, that's in Sejanus' best interest. His father would show up and negotiate a discharge, so with no Sejanus here, I'll feel safer. Yeah, so he was thinking, okay, it's all for good, it's all for good. But a day later, nothing happened. Sejanus' father wasn't there to get Sejanus out. So Coriolanus was actually nervous about it. He felt some guilt, And he was about to go and send a note to Flint's family to tell them what happens to Sejanus so they could interfere. But on his way, there was an announcement that one of their own was to be hanged for treason. It was surreal, like walking nightmare for Coriolanus. On top of that, he was given an order to attend the hanging. He was terribly scared. First, because of the guilt. Second, what if Sejanus will tell them about Mayfair? He hardly got dressed to get there. His fingers were stiff, legs shaking. He was standing there during the hanging when they brought Sejanus in, and also that girl, Lil. As they passed him, Coriolanus locked eyes with Sejanus. All he could see was a young boy he knew, terribly frightened. He said, Corio. His face contorted in pain. Coriolanus couldn't tell if it was a plea for help or an accusation of his betrayal. You know what? In the movie, they changed this moment. The whole recording was played during the hanging, so everybody heard Sejanus' confession, so obviously Sejanus knew who made that recording, that, his friend betrayed him. But in the book, we don't know what happened in the interrogation room with Sejanus. Did they tell him who told on him? Did they play the recording? We don't know, and I actually like it. We feel everything Coriolanus feels since we read the book from his perspective. So when Sejanus meets Coriolanus' eyes, Corio swallows hard, drawing in guilt, but Sejanus doesn't blame him. He's not angry. He's just scared. So from my perspective, the cruelest part, which is, good in the book, is that Sejanus might still not realize who betrayed him. He leans towards Corio with an open heart at the last moments of his life. And that makes it unbearable, because Corio isn't striking an enemy. He's destroying a harmless, trustful soul. And he knows it. As the drum roll began, Coriolanus squeezed his eyes shut, wishing he could block out the sound as well. He didn't want to hear Sejanus' final words, but he heard everything. Sejanus' cry, the bang of the trapdoors, and Jabberjays picking up Sejanus' last words. Ma. He was calling for his mother. So birds picked it up and they were screaming it over and over again. This Ma. So now Coriolanus is torn again between guilt, which he's trying to hide with his rational part, and fear for his own life. He felt like it was only a matter of time. He thought that maybe he should just give himself up before they came to arrest him. They also arrested Spruce. I didn't tell about that. Yeah, so a few days before, they also arrested Spruce. And Coriolanus thought maybe he confessed to everything, or maybe Sejanus gave details of the murders. So even if they had not, the peacekeeper's rifle was still out there, covered in his DNA. Maybe it's already found. So, oh my god, by the way, little foreshadowing. No, Sejanus didn't tell them anything about Coriolanus. Well, maybe they didn't ask about that. But I'm like, so he didn't know that it was Coriolanus, or even he knew it was Coriolanus, but still he didn't rat him out. What a good person. Ooh, okay. So, what happened next? Coriolanus soldiered his way back, speechless. He was alone in his room. He didn't want to talk to anybody. Everybody knew he was Sejanus' friend, and he didn't want to show them the true feelings. So, poker face. Truth be told, he didn't want Sejanus to be hanged. He just wanted to be safe himself. And Sejanus, with his activity, was putting him in danger that could hurt him, as it was in the arena. So he is not evil. He just wanted to live threat-free life and feel safe. Even though that deep down he didn't feel truly they were like brothers, he didn't want him to be hanged. And that traumatized him, how it all rolled out. Now he's torn, he's in pain, the mistake he made. So when he came back into the room, he was still trying to hold the poker face. Then his, what's interesting, survival rational part kicked in. I believe it kicked in as a coping mechanism, so he wouldn't go crazy with guilt. So his rational side said, "It's not your fault." A tiny voice was saying, "What choice did you have?" No choice. As if it was just a survival act. As if he had to do it to save his life. So it was legit. A right thing to do. Can you believe it? He also thought that he also gave Sejanus more time to live. Without Coriolanus, Sejanus would have been killed in the arena. Yeah, not so long ago, right? So he gave him a few more weeks to live. Even very coldly and distantly, he thought, poor Sejanus, foolish, dead Sejanus. So that was very cruel. It was his rational part. And then he even opened Sejanus' locker as if nothing happened, grabbed a cookie Sejanus had, and started to eat it. And while eating it, images flashed in his brain. Sejanus sharing the sandwiches, standing up to Dr. Gold, embracing him, swinging from a rope. He gagged on the cookie and started to cry. His emotional part took over. He couldn't suppress it anymore. He felt the ugly, violent soaps shake him. He wept for Sejanus, for his poor mom, for Tigress, for himself. Any day now he would be dead. And he didn't want to die. Oh. So again, here we see that he didn't want to kill Sejanus. It happened on the way. He just wanted him out of the picture to be safe. As I mentioned before, I believe it's because of him feeling very vulnerable, having no family to have his back. So he's tried everything to save his life without thinking about consequences. So right now he's crying not only for Sejanus, but he's crying because he's sorry for him that his life will be over soon. So at one point it's actually egoistic. He didn't feel redemption for what he did to Sejanus, Mayfair. Oh, Mayfair he didn't even know, just like as if nothing happened. He didn't think about her at all. He felt mostly sorry for himself. He felt that he would be next, but there was still some pain for Sejanus, and here I feel sorry for him. He didn't want any of that. He wanted to be with his family. He wanted to be a respected, decent man. He wanted to go to university, right? And he wanted to work hard and earn like a good position in society. He wanted to restore Snow's name. And now what is happening to him? He's a murderer, he's a traitor, he's expelled from his regular society. Like, he didn't want any of that. So many things happened to him, and I'm sorry for him. So after that, um, he expected them to arrest him any moment, and that kind of happened. Commander's aide showed up and requested that Coriolanus follow him. Coriolanus was shaking, but the commander said, I can express the capital sincerest, what was it? Gratitude for your sacrifice. Coriolanus was like, what? Come on, just arrest me. Well, he said. But the commander told Coriolanus that actually Dr. Gall received the message from the bird, and she said sending it could not have been an easy choice for you, so your loyalty to the capital is greatly appreciated. Coriolanus was out by that moment. He thought that he was about to be arrested. Apparently, they found the gun with his DNA, and turned out no, seems like the gun had not yet surfaced. So he was like, yeah, Sejanus wasn't bad. He was just confused. So they let him go. And then Commander said that he's having a birthday party that night, and he invited some artists. So Coriolanus figured it was Lucy Gray and Kobe. He was happy that maybe I'll see her at least for the last time before they arrest me for good. They haven't seen each other, actually, after Sejanus was hanged. That night, Kobe were giving great performance at the birthday party, singing different songs, and then Lucy sang a song which Coriolanus felt she sang for him. So she was also wearing her rainbow dress, so he felt certain that it was for him, a way to communicate, like, I'm there for you, yes, I support you, and that's what he thought. So at that time, an overwhelming flush of love ran through him, as a reminder that he was not alone in this tragedy. That's why I believe he was not really in love with her, because all this time he was, well, maybe he was distracted, nervous, thinking about so many things, but he never really thought about her during that time. So, and now he saw her, and that's why I think she was like his crush, but he never really protected her. And here he felt that she supported him, and as he really needed it, he thought he felt love. But I think it's not real love. She sang a song, and there were lines like, the world is dark, and this world is scary, no wonder I'm weary, that's why I need you, is driven Snow. The mention of Snow confirmed that she'd written this song for him. His eyes filled with tears. So remember, he was on a thin ice, emotional conditions, right? So that's why his eyes filled with tears. They would hang him, but she would be there, knowing he was still a genuinely good person, not a monster who cheated and betrayed his friend. So he knew that what he did classified as being a monster who cheated and betrayed his friend. So he hoped, since she loves him so much, she would see him as a genuinely good person, someone who'd really tried to be noble in impossible circumstances. So you see how he's trying to defend himself. So inside of his brain, like subconsciously, deep inside, he knows what he did. It's monstrous step, right? He knows. Betraying a friend, murders, everything, but also subconsciously, he's kind of covering it up, saying that it was just impossible circumstances. He was only trying to survive. And that's why, again, he feels the love for Lucy. Not because he loves her, but because he loves the way she sees him as a good person. And in his mind, he's thinking that she's seeing me as a person who had to risk it all to save her from Mayfair, to save her in a game, a hero of her life. Like, well, Mayfair, it's not to save her, you did it to save yourself, and in the game you also did it for your own benefit. But now, and that's his thoughts. So, and I don't think he's delusional. Probably this rational part try to suppress everything else. Nevertheless, so knowing that he's about to be hanged, he wants to stay a hero for someone, so his life is not wasted. After the song, they had a chance to chat, and he gave her a scarf as a gift, and she said she's sorry about Sejanus. Obviously, she knew nothing about Coriolanus' part in that, and then she said she's going to run away because of the mayor. He won't leave her alone. He drives his car down to her house and sits in front of it for hours. He believes Lucy killed his daughter, and he wants revenge. So Lucy's going to run away up north, like Billy Tope and the others talked about. And for the first time in days, Coriolanus saw a way to escape his news. He said he is going with her. After that, Coriolanus' mind was in a whirl. He can leave. And the next morning, he woke up early. He got ready to leave for good. But a pair of guards descended on him. Armed guards. And they said, Private Snow, you're wanted in the commander's office. He thought this couldn't be happening. They couldn't be coming to arrest me just when I was on the verge of freedom. But Commander said, Private, let me be the first to congratulate you. You're leaving for officer school tomorrow. So it turned out he passed the test. Remember, like back in the videos, yes, he passed this officer's test. And now he can go study at the officer's school. In that moment, he felt, oh, how he wished he could go to the officer's school, to District 2, which is not so far away from his home, the capital. And the officer's school, elite officer's school. He could be great in there, but there was still a murder weapon with his name on it out there. So hated himself, hated Sejanus even more. He ran away. He met Lucy, and they started for north.